Do you know what you find at the end of a rainbow? A pot of gold, right? Today we're going to talk all things gold. It's all over the news. We're hearing about it nonstop. You're inundated with it. I am too. Let's talk gold. We have gone through a gold renaissance. It's a modern day gold rush. Okay. Gold's everywhere. And the reality is, I've never been asked more about should I buy gold? Should I own gold? Well, the answer is maybe. But how? How do you go about doing it so that it's right for you? We need to understand the nuances of gold, why we could get in a lot of trouble with gold, or how it could work for us and with us. But let's also be real and talk about what gold doesn't do for us. I get it. Gold's hit all-time highs, and it's exciting. And we have something called recency bias. We have this thing here where we think whatever is happening, it's going to continue to happen. If things are good, they're going to keep getting better. If things are bad, they're going to keep getting worse. So why wouldn't gold just continue to go up, 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 up? And maybe it does for a period of time. A lot of people today are also concerned about world and local events, things that are going on here in the United States, things that are going on in Southeast Asia, Ukraine, Russia, Venezuela, Iran. There's all kinds of things going on around the world, and gold has felt like a safe thing to own, so it feels good to actually own the physical stuff. But here's the challenge. A lot of people see it as a currency alternative, and I'm going to push back and say, not really. A lot of people will say, Nick, if all hell breaks loose, I'll at least have gold. If the world blows up, at least I'll have gold. Well, I'd like to challenge that and tell you a story of a client of ours. Now, I'm going to change just enough that you wouldn't know who this is, but this gentleman, he was a successful business owner, really concerned in one of our last several presidencies that our world, especially here in the United States, was going to collapse. He was concerned about our debt levels. He was concerned about the deficit. He was concerned about the administration in power. He had a lot of concern, and I would even say worry. He came in one day and said, hey, I'm going to buy X amount of gold. I'm going to bury it in my basement. What do you think? I said, well, John, why don't you tell me a little bit, like, where's this coming from? What's going on? And he goes through World War III. He goes through all these things he's concerned about, and at least he would have gold. And I said, do you really think that we're on our way to it being that bad? Like it be really, really that bad? You think that we're going to collapse completely as a country and we're going to go back to using gold? He said, Nick, it might. It could. Well, here's the thing, John. If it's going to get that bad, then gold's not what you want. He said, what? I said, yeah, gold's not what you want if you think hellfire and damnation's about to happen. If you think things are about to get that bad, that's not what you want. He said, what should I own? I said, well, you know what would be a lot more valuable than gold? He said, what? I said, non-perishable items. Water. You'll want clean water. You'll want non-perishable food. That's what you'll want. That'll be worth way more than gold. He said, okay, anything else? I said, yeah, as a matter of fact, do you know what might be worth even more than that? He said, I don't know what. I said, well, do you have a neighbor? And he goes, I've got a couple of neighbors. Talk them into getting the food. He said, what? Yeah, have them fill their basements with food. He said, okay. I said, do you have a gun? He said, yeah, I've got quite a few guns. All right, invest in ammo. He said, what? I said, yeah, because if it gets that bad, it's not going to be the gold, and it's not going to be those non-perishable items. Who has the guns and who has the bullets if it gets that bad? John, he reflected, he thought, he said, I hear what you're saying. I get it. I just need to have these conversations sometimes. And I said, John, you're just like all of us. It's good to have conversations like this where we can really think through things. Now, John wasn't really radical in what he was thinking. He was just really concerned in the moment, as many of us get. I remember how I felt after 9/11, and many of you do too. There's a lot going on in this world, but we have to make wise decisions, and owning gold as an alternative currency might not be the best decision. Owning physical gold as an investment today might not be the best decision. Let's talk about gold as an investment. There's a lot of different places we could invest our money, between markups, transaction fees, etc. Just because you might only have to get 22.5% to break even doesn't make it a good investment. So please understand what gold is. Gold is potentially a really good diversifier in somebody's portfolio. Now we understand diversity is really important. The volatility is something important to understand about gold, but there are other ways to own it. Look, this isn't investment advice, okay? This is for education and for you to contemplate and think with me about how gold might play in your financial situation. If you're looking at it as a part of your portfolio to diversify, as an example, then you could look to gold ETFs or other gold investment firms that are listed on the stock exchange. Again, not investment advice, but the reality is that could be a much more liquid way and less expensive way to own exposure to gold as an investment to further diversify your assets. The truth of the matter is, you and I would love that pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. Gold has appealed in our culture. It shows up daily in the things we wear, in the things we see. Gold is very familiar to us, but I'm going to encourage you. If you're thinking about gold or even silver as a piece of your portfolio, a piece of your investment strategy, seek wise counsel. Remember, it's not what you make, it's what you keep. Thanks for being here today, and thanks for staying coachable.
Investment advice offered through Merit Financial Group, LLC, a registered investment advisor.